When I talk about business class flights, it might evoke thoughts of big comfortable seats that recline fully flat, and maybe even have a private suite with a closing door. But the reality of short-haul business class flights within Europe is often very far from this. What you'll typically find is a row of economy seats with just the middle seat blocked out to give you a bit of extra room. However, there are a few airlines that use wide-body planes on short-haul routes within Europe that allow you the opportunity to try out these incredible long-haul business class seats on just a short flight. Today I'm going to be giving you the information on all of the easiest ways to find these seats, which airlines offer them, and on what routes. Let's start off with one of the cheapest ways, which is flying with Iberia. Now this is something I've done myself just a couple of months ago. Iberia actually have multiple flights between Heathrow and Madrid every day that are on either their A330s or A350, meaning you get the proper lie-flat business class seat. Now given that there are multiple flights a day, it's actually really easy to find availability. And do you know what? I'm going to do that right now. And whilst I'm looking this up, I'll share my screen over here. So, going from Heathrow to Madrid, I'm not going to pay with Avios for now, but that is obviously an option to keep the price down. And let's just pick a few months in the future and hit search. So it does take a while for the website to load up, so I will skip through. So obviously this brings us to the search page. There's quite a few on here. What we're looking for is the ones that are done by Iberia. And all you need to do is click into where it says details and you can see what type of aircraft they're doing. So for this one, it's an A320, so we're not interested in that. A320, 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 there we go, A330. So the 6:45 flight is on an A330. So this is one of our long haul flights. So what's really interesting to note as well is you'll see that this is the exact same price as the departure at 5:25. Whereas this one though, you're only getting the economy seat, the seat next to you blocked out. This one right here, exactly the same price, but you're getting the proper wide body aircraft with the proper lie flat seat. And not only is it the exact same cost in cash, but it's also the exact same cost if you book with Avios. So yeah, as I said, dead easy to find availability. Just search for it on the website, click on the flight details to see which one it is, and you'll get it for the exact same price as you would for the short haul aircraft. So next up, we've got Finnair. Finnair are an absolutely brilliant airline. I flew them for the first time earlier this year and I absolutely loved the new Air Lounge seat. Now, it doesn't recline, but it does lie fully flat and it's one of the most comfortable seats I've ever sat in on a plane. And the good news is that they do fly regular flights between Heathrow and Helsinki using this business class. And they do this in their A350s. So once again, let's get on the phone and I'll show you how easy you can find these. Again, got my phone out, I've gone to the Finnair website and I've just put in a search for a random date. I haven't looked this up ahead of time, so hopefully there will be some availability on this day. But we're just going to do the same again. We're going to click on details of the flight and see what kind of plane it is. So this one is an A321, so no, that's a wide body. So no, and then A319, no. A321, no. A321, that's another no. A321, and there we go, an A350. So it took a little while to find it, had to click for a few to get there, but sure enough, I picked a random date and there it was, some availability for that flight. The other advantage of flying with Finnair out of Heathrow is that they go from Terminal 3. So you get to use all of the brilliant One World Air lounges that are based there. So you get to go to the Cathay Pacific Lounge, you get to go to the Qantas Lounge, in addition to things like the BA Lounge and the American Airlines Lounge. Next up is one that might be a surprise to a few of you. It's actually Singapore Airlines. So Singapore Airlines have a fifth freedom route, almost got that, that goes between Milan and Barcelona multiple times a week. So basically the flight comes in from Singapore to Milan, has a bit of a stop over there and then goes on from Milan to Barcelona, and then vice versa for the return. It starts in Barcelona, goes to Milan and then goes onwards to Singapore. Now this is one I've not tried personally yet, but I definitely will be adding it on the to-do list for next year. And let's have a look at how easy it is to book this. So I'm searching for Milan to Barcelona. I'm just searching for this as a one-way. It's selected economy. Let's change that to business. And when you go on the departure date, it takes a little while to load through, but it will start to show you what days they fly. I'm pretty sure from memory when I looked at this before, it's a Sunday, Thursday and Wednesday. It doesn't seem to want to load it up, but let me just search for a random Sunday, see what it says. Yep, so there we go. So there is availability showing. It's an early departure, it's 6:20 a.m. So you might actually prefer, if you're going to do this, to go the other way from Barcelona to Milan if you want more of a kind of midday flight. They're also charging a fair bit, so this is €400 for business light, but you will get a proper lie flat comfortable seat for that. Next up, we have another one that might surprise you, which is Emirates. So although the majority of Emirates flights go to and from Dubai, there are a few exceptions to this, and one of them is to go from Cyprus to Malta. So Larnaca in Cyprus to Malta. Emirates fly long-haul aircraft between those two destinations, and on this route you can enjoy not just business class, they actually also sometimes fly planes with first class as well. They have really regular flights. I don't recommend this one though. It is only a 2-hour flight and it's incredibly expensive. Most of the ones we've looked at so far, Singapore Airlines a bit on the expensive side at €400 for one way, but the Finnair one and the Iberia one, very reasonably priced. And you can also easily book those with Avios and pay very little for them. The Emirates one, on the other hand, every one I looked at was about 900 odd euros for business class. So you're looking at, not much less than £1,000 to do a 2-hour flight in Emirates business class. And I think it was about £1,500 for first class. And to me, that's a bit ridiculous. I've looked at a lot of Emirates long haul fares that are cheaper than that. So I don't know how they're quite justifying that fee, but not worth it as far as I'm concerned. Next up, we have Turkish Airlines, and this is actually a really good one to use because they have flights to loads of different destinations in Europe that use wide-body aircraft. So in addition to Heathrow, there's also a lot of other kind of major cities, your likes of Paris, Amsterdam, Frankfurt, where they'll also offer the more long-haul aircraft on those routes. Okay, so once again, going to get the phone out, we're going to have a look at how easy it is or difficult it is to find these fares. So I'm looking at flights between Heathrow and Istanbul. I've just gone one way and picked a random date. So let's have a search and see what they've got. So to find out what kind of plane it is, we're just going to click on itinerary details. So that first one there is an A321, we don't want that. Next one after that is a 777. And helpfully as well, if you're not too familiar with the different aircraft, they do actually specifically say that it is a wide body. So it's a really easy way of telling what product you're going to be able to get. So that's one wide body. The next one is also a wide body. The one after that is also a wide body. And the one after that is also a wide body. So out of the 5 flights that are going this day, 4 of them are wide body aircraft where you can have a proper lie flat seat. So if you are going to or from Istanbul, this is a great way of guaranteeing a comfortable seat. It's a fairly long flight, it is 4 hours. And if you were going with BA, you would just have your standard economy seat with the middle seat blocked out in business class. Whereas with Turkish, you can almost guarantee yourself that wide body experience. It does come at a bit of a premium though, looking at these fares. Granted, I'm only looking a month out for these. It might be cheaper pre-booking, but if you are going for the cash fare with this one, it could be a bit expensive. And then next up, I just want to mention that a lot of other airlines, although they don't fly these kind of routes regularly, they will have occasional availabilities for it. So for example, with British Airways, and also for airlines like Lufthansa, Aer Lingus, Air France, for a lot of these, although they don't routinely fly wide bodies within Europe, sometimes they do, and they'll often do this if it's part of a training flight. If there's people that they're trying to train up for using the long haul craft, they might get them going on some of the short haul routes initially, or if they've received delivery of a new aircraft, they might first start flying it in Europe. BA, for example, when they first got the club suites, they were doing quite a few intra-European flights with those to get people trained up on them. But these ones are a lot more difficult to find. You might occasionally get lucky. If you go to websites like Simple Flying, I often find that they post about these flights. So keep your eye on those kind of boards to see when these things come available, but a lot less guaranteed than the other methods that we've talked about. So there you go, a bunch of different ways that you can experience a proper wide body business class when flying within Europe. I'd say the best ones to go for me Iberia, Finnair. I think they're probably the cheapest to do from out of the UK. And because I have personally flown both of those, I can vouch for the quality. I think the Singapore Airlines and the Emirates ones are likely to be the best ones that you can get, but they come at a very significant premium. And Turkish Airlines are the ones that have the biggest network of flights within Europe that are on these wide-body aircraft. Okay, so just a couple of additional caveats to give you. The first thing to remember is that although you are flying on a wide-body aircraft, you are still going to get that short-haul service. So what that means is the meals are going to be just the same as what you would have got if you're on one of their narrow-body aircraft. So you're not going to get the same dining as you would on a long-haul flight. The other thing that's important to remember is that all these flights are subject to change. So even if you've booked one of the long-haul aircraft, there is always the chance that at the last minute there might be an equipment swap that will change that for one of the narrow bodies. So that is a bit of a risky take. You're less likely to have that on some of the ones that fly more often with the wide body, so the likes of Turkish. And I've not really heard of this happening too much with Iberia and Finnair. I think they too tend to be decent for it, but there is always that chance. Hope you found that useful, and do let me know if you've ever flown on one of these wide-body aircraft within Europe. And if there's any other airlines that do this that I've not mentioned, please let us know in the comments. It'd be really helpful. Thanks very much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.